Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Chatting with Cathy. I'm Cathy Kelley, and joining me today, dancer, actress, singer, neuroscience enthusiast,
yes.
Alyson Stoner.
Woo-hoo!
I feel like you have so many things that you have going on all the time, and I have trouble keeping up. But
And all of the personalities that live inside my head, which I study. That's one of them.
well, thank you for
Thanks for having me. Nice to see you.
Good to see you as well. And I want to talk about everything that you have going on right now. Movies, music, all of that stuff.
Yeah.
We're going to take it back to the very beginning, though.
Okay.
How you got your start in the industry.
Oh, wow.
I know that you grew up in Ohio, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then was there like a pivotal moment where you were like, we have to make the move to LA?
Yes. I attended a convention called International Modeling and Talent Association, IMTA, in New York. And I was actually going, I believe, as my sister's substitute because
Okay.
she had a second dance convention happening in the same time. And I ended up doing very well. Surprisingly, I think I got like 7 awards.
Yeah.
And we weren't expecting any of that. We don't know anything about Hollywood coming from Toledo, Ohio. And
Your parents are not involved in the industry.
no
Yeah.
affiliation whatsoever. And afterwards, the agents and managers recommended highly that we try it in Los Angeles. And that's a huge family decision to see if it's going to negatively affect my siblings and everyone involved. So we tried it for 9 months. Again, they proved to be really successful very quickly.
Yeah.
So we ended up making the move to Los Angeles, and the rest is history.
During that time, was it like one of your parents would go with you to auditions and stuff?
Yes, so my mom traveled mostly with me to every audition, and she still tried to make it to my sister's basketball practice and my other sister's fashion, whatever.
Yeah.
So it was a stretch, and it was really tough, but I'm grateful that she was right by my side through it
Yeah.
all, because it could have gone a lot differently.
Yeah, and that's a lot to balance, but for you, especially being so young, making the trips out to LA, you really need that support system as well.
More than I was aware of at age 6. And what I love is that she focused on the industry being a hobby.
Yeah.
So she treated it the same way. If I was interested in planes, she would let me take an aviation class. So I never really saw the Hollywood fame side of it. I saw a passionate thing that I love to do.
Yeah. Did you still have chores and things like that growing up?
My mom was not one to give us chores, but
Really?
I was the daughter who asked if I could clean. I think it was like a reverse psychology tactic, because I would ask her if I could mop, or I would ask her for like the pledge. And since we've transitioned to eco-friendly products, but and I'm sure pledge is great. Holla back to everyone involved. But I would go around watering our fake plants, thinking I was helping them. She just told me recently that they weren't real.
Did your sisters do that as well? Or your sister? And
I don't know that all 3 of us
Yeah.
took the same mentality. I'll let Jamie and Corey fend for themselves.
okay.
Yeah.
But you were one to clean everything and
I was a perfectionist and an extremist, so if I wanted it to be clean, it had to be tidy. I think I just really wanted everyone's approval. Maybe that's why I liked acting. It was like, let me win you over. What do you want me to
The
do?
world.
I can do it.
not
Yeah.
just your family.
Right. I dream big.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So things started very fast for you once you did make the move to LA. Was that overwhelming for you at all as a kid?
As a child looking back, it definitely made different habits that I carry with me and have to change as I get older, because I was such a workhorse at so young that I didn't really develop the same kind of friendships with people.
Yeah.
I was almost a little isolated and socially awkward. So
That's
I...
me at 25 or 26, so.
So my mom kept me in regular school for as long as we could,
Yeah.
and we tried to establish some sense of normalcy. But yeah, between like the Missy video and then going to school for 3/4 of a month to be told that you booked a movie, it was like, I don't know, I don't regret it.
Yeah.
That's a pretty neat life to be able to look back on. So
Definitely.
I'm grateful.
Definitely. do you ever feel like you missed out on things like prom or the graduations?
Well, I didn't go to my own prom, but I did go to my best friend's prom as her
you
date.
did?
Yep. So I tried to get all of the normal experiences in.
Yeah.
But I have to say, like, kids are pretty cruel to each other. So I almost feel that my self-concept, although I had Hollywood coming after me, I was able to see, like, that's a monster that no one can beat sometimes. But school is, like, so personal and intimate that I feel maybe I was privileged to not go through some of the peer pressure. So.
And you seem to still want to continue your education. We've talked about this. In your free time, you like studying neuroscience and what is it, agriculture?
Yes, sustainable farming. It's a newfound hobby.
What have you learned so far? Teach us your knowledge.
Well, I want to actually learn more about, I'm not going to go into detail here, but I'm such a nerd.
You have to go into detail at this point.
Well, there's an actual place, I think it's in Indianapolis, and it's like a center of nuns, but it's a center for eco-spirituality.
Okay.
And it has something to do with kind of getting back to our roots and treating the earth with the respect that it needs so that it starts renewing as opposed to us just...
What we're doing to it right now.
Yeah. And I won't go into like any kind of political jargon here. Just know that I fully support taking proper care of yourself and the environment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where do you think that this thirst for knowledge came from?
It's innate. I'm very curious, and I think I struggle with a lot of big questions, so I'm forced to either have them buzzing in my head or seek out information.
Yeah.
And I chose the latter.
So where do you usually seek out information from? Do you watch a lot of documentaries? Do you just read a lot of stuff on the web?
Don't watch movies,
Okay.
which I should. There's a lot of education in film, and it's obviously what I love to do. But I find that I read quite a few articles from different people, and I like to honestly read a wide variety of opinions and perspectives, so that I'm cultured and aware, as opposed to just only fueling my point of view. Because that's not going to bridge the gap and help all of our differences be mended. So
you'll have a better, like a well-rounded opinion on it then.
And you end up building compassion for understanding where people are coming from, which is why I like studying neuroscience and psychology, to see the thoughts, feelings, actions chain, and I won't go into it.
Well, they say studying your opponent's viewpoints actually helps you in arguments.
Yeah, it'll strengthen your argument, absolutely. But what if we wanted to strengthen the compassion and love?
That too.
Da-dunch.
You're such a good person.
I'm running for office, so I'm not. Don't vote for me. I have too many things I'm trying to do.
Oh my gosh. Can we talk about all of those things though?
Let's
because
do it.
I feel like you are just, what is it, a Jill of all trades?
Oh, thanks.
Yeah.
Thanks, girl.
You do everything though.
I like a lot of things.
Yeah. So dance is something that you've been passionate about pretty much your entire life.
Mm-hmm.
How did you get your start doing that?
I wanted to be like my older sister. She was enrolled in a dance school, and my middle sister stepped on all of our feet when she took classes there, so she's not cut out for the dance world, but I stuck with it. And once we moved out to California, I realized I know how to do steps, but I don't get the move. I don't know the foundation. I don't know the art form. I don't know these styles, the culture, the history. So it's been a life instructor. And a lot of it has to do with being in your body and being vulnerable. So for a perfectionist, it's like the best creative challenge every single time that I dance.
Do you have a favorite style of dance?
Right now I'm training in house, and I want to learn more like Afrofusion.
Okay.
And of course, hip-hop is always fun, but I would love to kind of diversify. Maybe whacking. Like, I have so much respect.
What is that?
I could demonstrate, but I will, like, it'll be so disrespectful.
Just tear the roof off, too.
It's incredible. Just type it in. You'll see. I'm sure you'll also see some really poor renditions of it, but hey, to each his own.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is something that you want to continue taking classes in and...
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm a student first and foremost, and there's always something to learn. And even when you're dancing with non-professional dancers, everyone moves differently. There's something beautiful about the way every single person moves. So I'm not looking for experts. I'm looking for feeling and connection.
Yeah. And dance has really helped you get certain acting roles with the whole Step Up franchise and several other things. They kind of are this fusion where you do both of them at the same time.
And what's exciting is one of the new films, Summer Forever, I finally get to have my own solo performances where I'm acting, singing, and dancing, and I'm not, in the background. With all due respect, I'm so grateful for every movie that I've been a part of, but my character either gives up dancing or she doesn't get a moment to shine. So I'm very adamant about this new movie, Summer Forever, and sharing that it's one of the most special projects I've been a part of because the director gave me an opportunity to showcase the 15 years of training and growth that I've done.
And Summer Forever, too, getting into that has a really cool cast assembled for it. So tell us a little bit about that project.
Yeah, Summer Forever stars Megan Nicole and Cody Johns from Vine, Ryan McCartan, a lot of YouTubers and influencers. And it centers on 3 best friends spending their final weekend together before they leave for college and go their separate ways. It's really grounded. It's really sincere. It's very heartfelt. I play Liv, who's kind of boy crazy, outspoken, outgoing, but I think under her tough exterior, she's actually nervous that her best days are behind her and that she'll get stuck in her small town and kind of never believe in herself enough or find someone else to believe in her.
So that's what makes her a really relatable character then.
Yes. I think she has a mouth on her and she's got a great sense of humor, and yet the only time that she truly breaks down is when she's alone. She's afraid to be vulnerable with other people, and that's one of my favorite numbers in the movie, my solo to a song called Powerless. And while it's so powerful to watch, the song is essentially about feeling powerless.
Yeah. There's been this trend, I feel like we've all seen recently, of social media celebrities transitioning into more mainstream projects, being parts of feature films. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, just like they're transitioning to traditional media, I'm transitioning to new media. So I think it's becoming more of a hybrid market.
Yeah.
What they have as an advantage is an amazing engagement with their fans, and such an immediate response. All the feedback that we could ever want as actors and actresses, they get. Now they'll have to learn what we know from another angle, but there's room for everyone everywhere. And I think you'll be really surprised and impressed with how well Megan handles carrying an entire movie.
Oh, yeah.
This is her first acting role, and she's the lead. That's pretty intense.
I've interviewed her before, and she's one of those people that, like you, I think is beyond her years in maturity. It's just incredible to see. Yeah,
she's really kind, really hard worker, very wise, and she was a joy to be around. Just the sweetest. You just want to pinch her cheeks.
Yeah.
And Anna Grace, our third amiga. We couldn't have been a better fit. It was really, really great casting.
Yeah. And there were a lot of days where you guys filmed on the beach, right?
Yes, it was really grueling, hard work, terrible.
Don't pay you enough.
No, let me tell you. No, the reward was in making this film, and most of the scenes are actually improvised.
Really?
I mean, there's a plot and there's a loose script, but Roman let us really banter back and forth.
That's got to be so much fun.
It was amazing.
So you really have to know your character then to make something like that work.
Yes, we had to all respond, in our native kind of perspective, but it left a lot of room for play, and all of those unexpected moments, Roman did a great job at putting them in there, so you can see, oh, I don't think that was planned, but it's really fun. It's like being with your best friends. You don't know what that one girl is going to say all the time. You're like, Jess, that's my best friend.
It makes the reactions that much more genuine as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And we had fun, since Megan is newer to traditional media, we had fun kind of plotting what kind of things we would say to, see what would happen. It was amazing.
Throw her off, maybe.
Yeah, but we had some really great reactions. So
yeah.
It worked.
Have you taken improv classes before?
I took one improv improv class, I have such admiration for people who can ad-lib, and I want to be better at it. But it just takes such a carefree, sort of reckless abandon, and I don't know that I'm quite there yet. So I should get back to class.
They're fun.
They're really fun.
Yeah. I've taken a
They're
couple
kind of
classes.
intimidating.
UCB, my favorite.
And you're
Loved
like,
it.
I think I'm funny in real life. And then you get in the class and they're like, be funny within this frame of whatever, and do it in this scenario now. And you're like,
Well, that's the thing is everyone always thinks you're supposed to be funny, and the people that try to be funny, I feel like end up just falling flat on their face, and it doesn't work out. So
see, I don't want to do that.
yeah,
But I'm willing to fail in order to learn.
yeah,
So I think I need to go back to class. Will you go with me?
yeah.
Okay.
Let's do it. Sign
Great.
up. It's like an exciting, terrifying,
Yes.
if that makes sense.
Yeah, mostly terrifying for me. But there's some excitement in there.
As long as you can make fun of yourself, that's all that matters.
I'm getting pretty good at that. Pretty good.
So I want to talk about your other film that you have coming out, Sugar Babies.
Yes.
This is a completely different kind of film than Summer Forever. So for people that don't know anything about it, tell us about that.
Sugar Babies is a very mature movie. It's far more dramatic than any of my other work. It's going to be on Lifetime August 15th at 8 p.m. and it follows Katie Woods through her freshman year at college, and she is unexpectedly involved with this sugar daddy, and she has her own financial troubles, so the arranged companionship kind of has its advantages until sincere feelings develop, and then she has to navigate sort of her core values, like re-examine who she is, who she wants to be, what her stance is on such an issue. And my favorite part about this is that we never tell you what to think. We never give you a point of view, but it does open a dialogue. So I hope whoever watches with their family and their friends, they talk about this topic.
Yeah. When you have, when you're getting into different roles like that, how do you kind of navigate those different characters?
Well, for one, you have to set aside your own views and not judge them for the choices they make, but find a reason why that made sense, either impulsively or intentionally. And then afterward, with each scene, you have to remember that when you can see it as a whole, it's hard to stay in the moment. But if I haven't yet discovered all of these things yet, people ask if I did a whole bunch of research on the Sugar Baby world.
Yeah.
No, because my character didn't do a whole bunch of research for this, scenario. It happened to her.
Yeah.
So I have to know her roots. And if I know her roots, then I'll respond how she would respond in such a situation.
You more so have to go into it with being naive.
Mm-hmm. You have to experience it the way that they would, honestly.
Yeah. I am now kind of realizing how the whole fascination with psychology and neuroscience is coming into play.
See?
Yeah.
Everyone's history. If you think about it this way, every human is a sum of their experiences. And every single thing that you've experienced is shaping why you're sitting that way, why your hair looks that way, why you reacted
Laziness,
that way.
probably.
Every single thing you do. So it helps me realize how many different kinds of characters you can build when you have a different set of experiences for everyone.
Do you have a dream role moving forward?
Honestly, my focus is shifting to music right now.
Yeah.
But I am so in love with just sharing honest portrayals of any human being. Ordinary is fascinating to me. Small things are big things. And I don't have a desire to do some kind of epic action film, but I do it. I want to see the humanity in it. And I want to be able to tell a story that, hits you right where you really feel it and it affects you in any kind of way. And there's room for all kinds of films.
Yeah.
I'm more than willing to take risks and explore all kinds of roles.
Yeah. And the new single that you just released, Pretty Girls, is in association with the film.
Yes.
But I know you want to work on some of your more original music as well.
Yes. So Sugar Babies, the opening song, is a song that I wrote for it with Dexter Darden from Maze Runner and producer Rob Grimaldi. And It's fabulously perfect for sugar babies, but it's not my identity as an
Yeah.
artist. My sound is more global pop, new school Janet Jackson. It's got that percussive classic feel, but
Yeah.
it's very vibrant. You can dance to it. It's powerful. It's dynamic.
I've heard you say the female Justin Timberlake before,
Yes.
and I love that analogy.
Yeah, we want to play around with the best of the best qualities from all of the iconic performers and give you that all-around entertainment again. And my single will hopefully be released this fall, and the video will be directed by Roman, who directed Summer Forever.
That's so cool.
So it's finally going to come to life.
Yeah.
It's been a long time.
And Pretty Girls has a message as well behind it.
Absolutely. So underneath the sheen and the polished sound is the message Pretty Girls Learn to Work It Early. And it goes along with the movie, just sharing how we're conditioned as women, sometimes, not all the time, to use certain facets to manipulate, just persuade people,
Yeah.
get our way, get things done, how it's encouraged, how it's frowned upon, and it just kind of examines that within a pop song. So
Yeah.
I still try and keep things intelligent. If you look for the message, you'll always find a few.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it sounds like with both movies and your music, you want people to take something away from it.
Yeah, there's no reason to put out mindless content. Now, there's a room for carefree fun,
Yeah.
and there's always room for just pure joy and just celebration. But I still want it to have some kind of significance and sincerity to it. If I'm connecting with you, that's far more important than me just sort of being robotic and doing whatever someone else wants me to do.
Yeah. And I know that you've released original music in the past, but moving forward, is it really important for you to, I know you'll sing on the tracks, you'll dance in your music videos, all the above, but writing, you said you had
I
a
write
huge part of
everything.
writing everything. That's
Yes.
awesome.
And this next single was written solely by me, nobody else.
That is so cool, though.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. And a lot of artists who do and don't write their music are fantastic writers. It might not be the record that makes it, out to public, but I'd say, you've got to give people more credit. If they've made it in the industry, even if you don't think they have the traditional talent it takes,
Yeah.
they've got something else going on for them. So I just want to, give a shout out to everyone and say to all of you watching, please be nice and respect all the artists for what they do.
Yeah. There's room for everyone.
There's
like you
room
said.
for everyone, and chances are, even if you don't like them, they've still figured something out that's working. So you gotta respect them for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have a question. Would you rather have a single that just is a huge radio hit, or would you rather have something that has a message and is personal to you?
Does it have to be mutually exclusive?
Just I don't know. Would you rather?
I mean, because I think you can still have a great
you can
message
definitely have both.
in radio
Yeah.
pop. To establish myself, I'm more than happy to put something out that's more celebratory.
Yeah.
But to totally sacrifice all meaning, if it doesn't feel honest, I'm not going to do it.
Yeah.
If it feels honest and it's a radio hit, great. If it feels honest and it's not a radio hit, great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. So I want to talk about I Pour Life, because
Yes.
that's something that I know it's a charity that you've been heavily involved in for a while now. But how did you get involved originally? And tell us about it, because I know that you would probably do a better job than I would.
Okay, well, I'll try and summarize it. I met Julie Higgins, the founder of I Pour Life, unexpectedly at the Mall of America when her daughter randomly asked for an autograph. I was doing a signing for another movie. She got to talking with my mother. My mother said, "My daughter would love to be a part of what you do." Julie said, "Who's your daughter?" "Oh, it's Alyson." So we stayed in touch. It's been 7 years now that I've worked with the organization through all of the transitions. We did respect tours, inspiring young women to stand for self-respect. And now it's evolved into in-school curriculum. It's branched out globally. We have efforts in El Salvador and Ethiopia. And this trip I'm making to Africa in 3 weeks will be in the village of Kora. So Kora is a leper colony of 100,000 people who feed off of other people's garbage. Most of the kids can't go to the school. Parents can't work to provide. So what we do is we meet them and say, hey, we're not here pretending to have your answer or be your savior, but if we can do life together, we can teach you some trades, some skills, healthcare, finances, other things that will help elevate you out of poverty and into sustainability.
Yeah.
So we're watching lives be transformed in a lasting way. And that's what's important to us, that we don't give a hand out one time, but we give a hand up to them.
That's incredible.
It's beautiful.
How has it affected you personally?
What I love is that our approach is not that we have all the answers. Our approach is to journey alongside another human being. So if you open yourself up to just respecting them and loving them, and receiving the love that they offer, you have these beautiful moments of connecting with someone who you otherwise might not have met. And they might do life differently than you, but there's so much room for all of our differences, and you just learn to celebrate humanity, and you see dreams restored, you see dignity restored, you see them come back online. You know, what once was sort of pushed away because they thought it wasn't possible is now possible again. And like I said, our passion is to make sure that they have trusted, consistent feedback and relationships with people who want to see them succeed, not just give them a handout and then pat themselves on the back.
Yeah. So moving forward, I know you're incredibly busy with films and music and dance. You think that charity is something that you're going to make time for no matter what?
Always, but that's even if I wasn't doing it publicly, that's how I would want to live my life privately. I don't mind if people know that I'm going with iPro-Life, or if...
Because it probably inspires other people as well.
Well, and I hope it does inspire other people, and I'd love to use my platform to serve everyone. But at the end of the day, like, I want whatever I'm preaching publicly to be how I live privately. So if the platform goes away, I'm still going to be in Cora.
Yeah.
And that's just the way it is.
That's incredible, though.
Nice.
So I have some fun questions for you.
Okay.
That's okay. Are you ready?
Yes.
Maybe not so fun, but just random. How often do you Google yourself?
Oh, I usually need images for press things, so maybe like once a week.
Okay. That's good.
It's for work.
We justify it. If you could eat one thing the rest of your life, what would it be?
Ooh, green smoothies.
Green smoothies?
Okay.
What?
Yes, it's the Jungle Bowl from Creation.
Okay.
Okay. It's like a green smoothie at the base, right? But on top, it's sort of like an acai bowl. There's granola, there's bananas, fresh berries, some honey, bee pollen.
Okay.
It's just chock full of vitamins and minerals.
That's so healthy.
It makes me this energized. Why wouldn't you want one?
Because it's not cookie dough.
Oh my gosh, okay, that's my second one.
Being honest, it's like the super healthy thing and then cookie dough.
And both are real sides of me.
Yes.
I'm a dancer, singer, actress. I also love all kinds of food.
Yeah. So, if you were to go on a date with a Disney prince, who would it be?
Ooh, I admittedly have not seen many Disney princess films. Does Simba count?
That one, sure.
Simba.
Okay. Simba.
Simba.
He's a good one.
He's great.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
He's the nice guy.
He's definitely, he goes through some times, but
But he just can't wait to be king.
I know. Yeah. Moving on.
Yep.
Hypothetical. If you had a wedgie on a first date, would you pick it? And how would you go about it?
Absolutely. There are so many covert ways to readjust the outfit, because what if you didn't and then he was looking at it for the rest of the night?
Yeah.
So, absolutely. You know, you just say, oh my gosh, that's such a beautiful view. That's all it takes.
And then readjust.
Readjust is the word we'll use, yes.
Mm-hmm. Cool. What is something you have to do, like cross it off your bucket list? I know you and I have talked about skydiving before, but
Yes.
Is there anything else that you'd want to do?
You know, while we're dreaming big, I'd love to headline a tour.
Okay.
You know, Might as well reach for gold.
That's awesome, though.
It would be very awesome. From your lips to God's ears. God? How you doing up there?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I'm like, please. It'll be for your glory.
I mean, speaking of music, I know you have a very eclectic taste in music, too. From Hillsong stuff to...
Gregorian chants.
Yeah,
big
I did
band.
not know that.
Oh, yeah.
That's
Anything and
interesting.
everything.
Okay.
Um,
How did you stumble across Gregorian chant?
that was actually a recommendation from one of my mentors.
Okay.
It's what he listens to, and I found that really fascinating. And then I realized that it's really cool for, like, meditative purposes.
I was going to say, meditating, yeah.
And even melodically, as a songwriter, if you get too familiar with pop music, you're kind of like, okay, I've heard this scale so many times. But you listen to a Gregorian chanting, and you're like, whoa, it's like listening to jazz scales. You're like, oh my gosh, what are they singing? What note? Is that a note? That's a note. You know, but it's like, it's beautiful, it's eclectic, it's alive.
Yeah. You were doing some not scales before we started the interview, but
I was singing Bieber, I think.
Yes.
It's a good one. It's a good one.
Yeah. Do you meditate at all? Speaking of meditation, you do?
I do. It's actually how I wrote my next single.
Really?
Yes. So I had a plan to fly back to LA, and something in me, just a gut feeling, was like, stay one extra day. And I should have had a $2,000 flight change fee because it was that last minute. Somehow the weather afforded us the opportunity to not have any fees. So I was like, all right, this is a sign. So I stayed. I meditated randomly. It was the first time I had ever done it.
Yeah.
And as I came out of meditating, I wrote the song. And it's the best song I've ever written, and since then, I meditate quite often.
I've heard really positive things from
Oh my gosh.
friends and family members who meditate.
It doesn't have to be this, like, esoteric, like, thing that you just are looking I don't know. It doesn't have to be fancy,
Yeah.
and it doesn't have to be...
It just grounds you. It clears your
grounds
mind.
you in your body. It reestablishes the mind-body-spirit connection. It's really helpful for so many practical reasons beyond, like, the profound ones.
Even just breathing exercises.
Absolutely.
Slows you down.
And I think in the Western world, we veer away toward it because it still feels like an unfamiliar philosophy. But the rest of the world, they're already on board, so we might as well.
Yeah.
Might as well catch up.
If you could time travel, go back 10 years and give yourself a piece of advice, what would you give yourself?
Oh my gosh.
Advice-wise.
I would just say, I would tell myself that I love you, I love her. I think she needed to hear that from me. I think she needed to hear that from herself. Self-compassion is, like, one of the greatest challenges, not just for women, not just for kids growing up, but really for human beings.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure why we have our answers that we think are the reasons, but regardless, I would just bridge the gap between this kind of, like, animosity and whatever, and just, I don't know, just love her. She just needed to be loved. She needed to know she was loved.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
That's the deep stuff for today.
Well, everyone goes through that, I think.
Yeah.
At some point in their life.
I don't know that everyone pushes through to the positive other side, though. I think a lot of us settle for listening to the inner critic. And some of that is normal, some of it's helpful and healthy, but some of it doesn't need to be there. Yeah.
I guess this is veering off track a little bit, but being in the industry for so long, I know we become our own worst critic, but did you ever have anyone telling you that you might not succeed?
Well, as an actress, I got told no 95 out of 100 times. I'm sorry, what am I saying? 99 out of 100 times. And you grow up with that idea that you have to change yourself in order to win. But at the same time, it made me stronger. It made me more curious.
Yeah.
I used it as an opportunity. And if you can see if you can see the bright light in all things, it's a very helpful. You're less fazed by the chaos, by the criticism, and you're more, I don't know, just excited to continue pushing forward.
Yeah. And it's really hard to face rejection in any aspect of your life, but to face it so much, I feel like a lot of people don't realize how much that can affect you.
It definitely affects you. And all the fears that we have, if I can say one thing on fear, I think we're afraid of fear, but we have to remember that fear is afraid of itself. So if you imagine like sitting in a chair like we are and fear is right there, what if the next time you're afraid of something, instead of recoiling, you actually ask fear, how'd you get there? What do you mean? Where did you come from? It's sort of like a counselor's way of handling it, but you then become less afraid and you see that fear has information about you that you don't have about yourself yet because you're too afraid to ask. So use it as a learning tool, and trust that it's there because it thinks it's protecting you. It's trying to help you. It's just reacting according to what it knows.
I've always said, and this is something that I've started doing recently, getting excited for when you're nervous. Like,
oh my
that
gosh,
kind of stuff. Because if you're not doing something that you're scared of or you're nervous for, then you're not challenging yourself at all.
And I'm so grateful that I now love failing. It stings in the moment, but I know that I'm trying something new.
Yeah.
And when I'm nervous, I too am taking note of it and saying, oh my gosh, like I'm taking this dance class and I don't know what I'm doing. Good. Like, it feels uncomfortable. Good. But you just have to make sure when you're putting yourself in uncomfortable situations that you stay grounded and you give yourself proper resources to manage the discomfort. Because that's when some coping tools can come in that are sometimes not good for you.
Yeah. And I feel like you're kind of in the stage where you're moving into a new part of your life. Like Phineas and Ferb just ended after 10 years. That was a huge chunk of like where you grew up. You're doing new movies, new music. So that's probably really exciting too. It's scary, but it's exciting.
It's really exciting. It's because I'm not afraid to be afraid. I'm like so open. I'm so open to succeeding, to failing, to falling, to winning, to losing. You know, it's just like, it's all a part of the story. Just embrace it, go with it, and enjoy the ride with the people you love.
Yeah. Do you have any advice for young girls or even guys who may want to follow in your footsteps and are a little bit scared too?
I don't know what footsteps of mine you want to follow in, but carve your own path. And my advice would be to get to know yourself. When you're growing up, if you're not asking yourself questions about where you came from, what you believe, you're not examining those things end up kind of deciding themselves, and they'll be deeply embedded back there in the subconscious. So you might as well bring everything forward, hash it out while you've got a support system and teachers and friends around you, and then just go with it. And love your flaws, accept all the parts of you, and get to know all the parts of you. And if you have any shame or confusion or guilt, like, just find the proper support. I just am all about restoring, just bringing yourself to a place of wholeness so that you can be the best tool to serve other people.
Yeah.
You know, if you're in the best place, then if you secure your mask before helping others, then maybe you can save more people, help more people,
Definitely.
not save them.
And then last question, if you weren't doing all the things that you are doing right now, what kind of job do you think you would have?
Oh gosh, to be honest, I think I would be a lawyer.
Okay.
And I think that's why life knew to put me in the arts, because I would have been so gung-ho on getting it right and being black and white about things, and the arts forced me into a place of color. So thankfully I'm not a lawyer, although it would be fun to play one
On TV?
Yeah.
Or in a movie?
Yes.
That'd be great.
Yeah, but acting stretches me. Being a lawyer would be like almost too simple because I'm already pretty rigid and like, nah, that doesn't work. Yes, that works.
Very formulaic.
Yeah, and I love law. I'm one of those people, so I'm like, I gotta get into the other creative space. abstract.
You can always study it in your time off, like
There you
agriculture
go.
and neuroscience and
I will.
everything else.
Probably will.
Awesome. Well, this brings us to our shameless plug section.
Okay.
So let everyone know when they can expect new music, where they can see your movies, all that fun stuff.
How exciting! Well, Sugar Babies airs on Lifetime August 15th at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Summer Forever, the movie, comes out later this month or next month on iTunes, and you can download it at summerforevermovie.com. You can follow me on Twitter at Alyson Stoner, ALYSONSTONER. And my new music is hopefully coming out in October or the fall, so keep your eyes peeled, and know that the next song I'm releasing, I seriously mean it this time. This is me. So if you don't like this one, well, I tried. I gave you my all. I gave you my heart, and you stepped on it.
Oh, no!
But that's okay, because I would just get up and keep dancing. So
I have a really good feeling about it, and so
Oh, I do
excited to
too.
see everything that I know you're going to accomplish in the future.
Thank you. Yeah, and if you want to donate to our Indiegogo fundraiser for I Pour Life,
Yeah.
you can find the link on my Twitter in my bio.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, Alyson, thank you so much for
Thanks,
coming
girl.
in. It was a pleasure having you. You can follow me on Twitter at Catherine Kelley. You can follow all of us here on Twitter and Instagram at AfterBuzz TV.
There you go.
Thank you again for coming in, and
Thanks.
hopefully we'll have you back soon.
Yeah. I would love to. I'd love to come back.